court in session. Tonight is a bittersweet night. One, that this will be the last show for the season of court in session. As you can see, my co-host, this is Keelan Phillips, Avenger Only One, has a smile from ear to ear. And that is because Clapham Bulls won the Premier League championship.
Hey. It might be not able to see from there.
Yes.
There it is.
Clapham Bulls won the championship.
There it is.
And it was an interesting championship. But I don't want to start at the championship. I want to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
First, I want to start with some good things. Having to play an entire season without a break for the first time in I can't remember how long.
Yeah.
Was a very good thing. I mean, there were some issues surrounding how fast games were coming, but it was a good thing to be able to start your season and finish your season without having to break for 3 weeks for exams and 2 more weeks because somebody got a show, and so it was good on that part. The not so good to me.
I just want to say one thing about that. While it was good that there wasn't any breaks, as you said, if the games were coming maybe a little bit more spaced out, so like obviously not having the break is a good thing because they don't want to play again rhythm and then have 3 weeks, but then having the game so like I think a lot of teams went through a Thursday, Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday, as I could be a little talking from and this is by talking to some of the players, right? They were saying that like that part could be a little taxing, but not the season on the whole. The season on the whole was thing, but the games coming a little consecutive. You know, we're NBA players, so we already got that that type of thing chamber or whatever we can go in.
Yeah, well, the best friend get one. I agree with that, but I also let me say I understand.
Yeah.
But if I had a trade-off, I would trade off having the games quick, a little close, than having to break for 3 weeks. Because that is not good for your momentum. That's not good for your periodization. That's not good for, just for build up to the playoffs. Sometimes it seems like you're playing 2 competitions because you break for so long, then you're going to crank it back up. That part of it, to me, that was good to have the games coming. What wasn't not so good for me because of that same thing was that overseas-based players were not able to participate. So you were not able to see people like Kyron, Alexander, Justin Pyle, Makai Moore, Justin Bramwell. You weren't able to see those players and see how good or how bad or if they're still the same. And then some teams suffered. Like Lakers would have had like 3 or 4 people overseas. Pioneers would have had 1. Bulls would have had 1. Station Hill would have had 1 as well. And so not having the overseas-based players was I would say not so good. But there was a trade-off. You wanted to make sure you don't have breaks that long. And also, this is a year for CARICOM, CBC championships. So you're not sure if it is going to come off or not. So what you try to do is try to give enough time that your national players will get a chance to work practice without having to play games and stuff, right? So it is you get one way and you get another way, like that's life. Life don't always go as you would like it. The other thing I think the Bear should be commended for is for actually getting it done. 1, for actually the amount of communication. Their communication strategy was much better than in the past.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the promotion of the games, the interaction on social media, that was a good thing for me.
Yeah,
As
that's a lot
a coach, as a player, as a former executive member, that to me that was good. The other thing they should be commended. Well, at the end, they did come up with a big, having local basketball being streamed on television. I mean,
Yeah,
live, first time ever. The last time
yeah.
would have been the Caribbean Championships, which Barbados won, but not local basketball.
Yeah,
But having said that, local players now have to understand that you're gonna start to work because you don't
yeah,
want people on television because only score 2 points in a quarter,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, that's not good for
It
television. That may be
really
good
wasn't.
inside the gym and game close but
No,
basketball
no,
content
no,
wise, to
no. It
watching
wasn't
that
good at
was
the
like
gym either.
torture.
It wasn't good at the gym either. I don't know. It wasn't. It
Right?
wasn't good at the gym either.
So the local basketball players now have to put in some work so
Yeah,
that they'll be able to, when the opportunity comes and you're able to showcase your talents, that you should be ready for the showcase and not end up in a situation where, it was like a boxing match, everybody bruising. So
yeah.
the Bay, they would have partnered with CBC and Flash Drive Media,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
they were able to bring those games. And with
Okay.
every game that was streamed, you can see that the production was getting better.
Mhm.
And that all goes well for basketball because your games are now online and you can go and look back and see, some
Yeah,
things you did wrong, some things you
yeah,
did right. So
yeah,
it gives a better showing for the basketball, and the basketball association should take a bow for that one.
yeah. One thing. This is not really um directly related to thing, but one other thing I think that BABA could also do like to end the season, something that like players could also strive for. I saw this in volleyball. Um, at the end of the year, they have obviously we have our awards, our MVP, our whatever thing, right? But I don't know if they have this. As far as I know, I don't think we have it. They also have like a first and a second team, like first team all volleyball. So like if they could have if BABA was to do a first team all BABA or even just a first and a second team, I guarantee you there can be players that are going to strive. That can also be a goal to strive for. And even if in a way a situation like for example, JU who didn't make the playoffs, but his numbers and his impact and his playing was still probably good enough to warrant being on one of those teams despite not making the playoff. I think maybe that could be an idea going forward later in the future. I could also get players think because a lot of players do, as I've told you, people actually do listen and hear what like we saying or whatever. So like in terms of the local basketball, get things going. So I think that could be another thing too that could really get people
Yeah,
interested.
I agree. Anything that could motivate players and to make it a little enhance the product, I'm all for
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
There's one concern though. The concern for me is the distance between the top four and the bottom four.
yeah,
Bulls won 10 games in regular season. That they were 10-4. The Celtics won 9 games, which is 9-5. And the fifth place team won 5 games.
yeah.
Right? Which means that fifth place team didn't beat any of the top four. Didn't even compete by any top four. So well, for 1 or 2 games,
But
I mean, like it was never in
yeah,
a
I think
doubt. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't say, okay, well, somebody can get upset tonight. All you would say is somebody can go home upset, and these people that went home upset was the people that expected to go home upset, right?
Yeah,
I think that's a concern. That's a concern for the basketball association. That should be a concern for the clubs. I know Lakers were very disappointing. For a club who is known for being in the, at least in the playoffs, they were woefully inadequate. But having said that, a lot of their players are also overseas. So so they would have they would say, well, look, I mean, half my team was overseas, so I can compete with, but I still feel that they should be better than where they are. They actually did NS6. The Schoolboys beat them twice.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, yeah.
Right. And then you were just better than Warriors, who come up for the first time, and Spartans, who really took a really big hit.
Yeah.
So I understand why where they are, but they still need for some improvement for the bottom four to make the competition a little tighter and a little better to watch, and to bring fans. Because I keep hearing players talk about, baby, don't do this, but if you're playing good basketball, people will come and watch.
Correct.
Right? But if you just if I am going to play, if Pineland's going to play Schoolboys, and everybody know that Pineland's going to beat Schoolboy by 80, nobody really going to leave home to watch that. Only the Pineland crew.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So the basketball players themselves got to understand that they got a stake in this as well. So if the baby is doing something to help them, then go help themselves by practicing, by being better at basketball. And I think once they do that, the Basketball Association will continue to strive. You will start getting people to watch. And if they continue with the communication that they had this season and even get better and do a little bit more things like what you talk about, adding the all BABA teams and stuff, then it augurs well for basketball. But if you want to be, if you don't want to practice and you turn up, no one wants to see anybody streaming and a game down 40-cent, 30-something, or a game done in the 60s and one team score, like 10 points in a quarter. Those sort of things are not, and that's not to say that you shouldn't play D, or not to say that, but you gotta understand that you gotta be better. And once they're better, I think everything will be fine. So that was a sore point. I would say, not really a sore point. I would say that the teams need to do some work to get themselves back, back. And I expect that. I'm hoping that Lakers and maybe Warriors could be better next year. And I may, instead of only 4 teams, make 6. I made the competition a little, a little more interesting. The team that coming up always will have issues because you're coming from a competition that you could play off of memory to a competition that don't care how bad the last team is, you're gonna really play. You're still gonna play to beat them. So they will always struggle, and Schoolboys will always suffer from, exodus, because the basketball pool is so small. If you see a good Schoolboy, you will try to encourage him to come to your team. So Schoolboys will always be in a rebuilding mode. So, and really and truly, they are there for development. So, that is their role. So, Lakers and Warriors need to improve to make the competition a little bit better. Right. So then we look at, we went through the season. We had the winners of the President's Cup was Pinelands. And they won it really easy. And then they had some issues with personnel going overseas as well. And then, but the Celtics, who were playing very well at that point, and then they got eliminated. So it is not anyone's fault. If they didn't have their players available, it's not Celtics' fault. So
got that away from you.
Yeah. So some things I love the buzz that was around basketball before the beginning of the season. I like the fact that Celtics made this big splash I mean, to get players from here, you hear the rumors, this body moving from here and that body moving from there. The assistant national coach moving from Pinelands to go and coach the team. I mean, it was like, you know, I was looking forward to, oh, let me see how these players look. You know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
some people, let me see how they look, and some people, oh, we can beat them. You know what I mean? Like, because you can see, like, when the first time Celtics, not in the final, but especially the first time when Celtics play Bulls, I mean, like, you can see the look on Raheem face. Raheem, like, I ain't losing this team. I ain't care what happened, we ain't losing this team, right? So, and that's because some of their players would have gone to
from both to
Celtic.
Celtic.
Pilots had the same thing, right? Because some of their players and their coach would have gone to Celtic. So it was like, you know, it was a nice buzz around basketball. I love the buzz. I don't know who can make a big splash next season, but I really love the buzz around the basketball as it relates to how Celtics did. The only downside of that was that they pulled so many players from one team, which was Spartans, that rendered them like you know, a Division I team playing in Premier League. So they could not recover. And I think they did the best. They turned up for every game. They play hard.
Yeah.
There's nothing, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed about. It's just you can't lose like your core and still be, you know, competitive. Right?
Yeah.
So I love that buzz around the basketball. Celtics, though, what I also like about Celtics was the only team that I saw for the season play multiple defenses in one game. Like, when they scored, they were press. When they missed, they would go back in the zone. They play man-to-man. And it wasn't just like this. The switching was like on a call, right? And as a basketball coach, I love that. So that really showed that they were practicing, because I mean, if you're not practicing when you met that call, right?
Yeah, you can.
Four people might be in and one fella gonna be wondering, right? So it showed, I like what they did as it relates to like playing multiple defenses in the same game. So like the score and the press, or sometimes they come out and double, or some of the play the press soft, and when you go in the corner, they trap hard. I like that sort of thing in the country basketball. I think they did really well at that, and I give them high marks for that.
Especially off a free throw. I really realized that we Capcom also realized obviously watching the game when they would do it. So there were sometimes when we were prepared for it. Sometimes we weren't. Sometimes we were a little careless with the ball. But as I said, as we had said multiple times, having three very good ball handlers, guards, you know, it made it that the press wouldn't have affected us as much as it would have affected other teams. I've seen that press affect other teams, but not to the extent that it would against Bulls. Like they said, we were sloppy with the ball at times, so we did turnover. So it still worked, yes, for them at times, but we also knew we picked up like after free throws, sometimes after scores that was coming when they were doing certain things. Where the help coverages were coming from, because as you say about how you like that, same with me. I love all of that in terms of like realizing different coverages and talking, and that's what was also saying like really helped. I was going through on the bench telling guys like help coming from here, this guy coming from here, like when you do this you gotta do certain thing, and like just seeing that little chess match and stuff like that was also good. I thought Celtics in game 2, they didn't adjust to because Clapham changed their defense, and we went into a 1-2-2 matchup zone.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I can spill the beans now. Obviously, the season done, but
but what I'm telling you though is, I saw it, but I thought they were missing Charlie. I don't think that, all due respect to Akil, I don't think that he's savvy enough to understand how that will go.
No, because like Celtics didn't do themselves any favors, because like I said once again, season over, nobody cares. We're it's not really spelling the beans or whatever. we at practice we went through it, and like it took Celtics up until the second half
So
to
yeah, to
even realize
understand, yeah,
put it in mind in the middle.
yeah,
It's really well. Whereas with us at practice, we went through it. It was all right, we go through, and like he had some guys on offense. So he was like, we kind of figured it out in like 2 minutes. It was like, oh yeah, just put him in the middle. Yeah, yes, theoretically that is how for a lot of zones to put him in the middle. But I think because of 1-2-2 matches don't look so much like a man two, it kind of threw them off into thinking that we were still playing man. Man, actually, we were playing his zone. So putting the man in the middle is what also did that. They also didn't do themselves any favors by taking people out of corners, because they didn't start with players in corners, but then they were kind of playing a lot of people at height. And if you just have people at height, I mean, like you just put everybody kind of in one area. Charlie definitely made an adjustment in the game 3 and 4, and they were leading. For they had, I think maybe they had a double digit lead in both games. I think that I take blame for that, because apparently every time that I got there late the last couple of times, and apparently every time I come in, we was down. So and then then when they arrived, apparently we stuck there by, so everybody would say like, start coming late. Like, I'm sorry, I have stuff to do. But yeah, so I thought it was a very good playoff matchup. I like how the crowd was into it. But you want me to tell you the truth? Okay, so all the other games were slippers, this usual thing, right? Game 4, I wore my back, shoes, sneakers, make sure everything was good. Right? Never don't for game 4. I said because no, it was the game was there was no game playing on that would be
Tuesday.
Saturday or Tuesday. Nope. Nope. There was no good. I told the guys on the bench, the next BABA game that I go to, the next prem game that I go to is next year where I play. Where I play. That's the next game that I go to, where I play. So but yeah, that's obviously just banter. But kudos to Celtics. They had a very good season. To
Yeah,
basically make a team from scratch.
yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
want
they,
to point out a couple of people though. Like
yeah,
I enjoy how Theo Greenwich play, but I think something he lets his passion get the best of him,
best of him.
and he needs to understand when to. Not when. I think he needs to understand where the line is. I don't think he understands where the line is. You go from being passionate to being obnoxious, right? You understand me? And sometimes it could throw off your teammates as well. But if I pick in 2 people, and he is one of them, I can pick him because he's going to give me all he has, right? He's going to give me all. And for any coach, Theo Greenwich in a team is a good thing, right? You try to manage the passion a little, right? But sometimes you just need that person that that can give you everything, and when you come off the court, you get real tired because he ain't got nothing more left, right? And I think he's one of those players like that. I think he still needs to work on some of his weaknesses, because he has to see a bigger picture than just the Premier League.
Yeah.
Right? I think he needs to work on his weaknesses, things like going left. And something that I pick up, he's either shoot 3 or layup. Right?
Yep.
He shoot 3 or drive. Now you got when there are trees in the key, the drives, you're gonna have high degree of difficulty misses. Right?
Have to have that mid-range.
Right. You gotta go out mid-range to keep people honest. And I think that he needs to work on those sort of the little things. I'm not saying that his basketball is trash or anything. I'm saying that he needs to work on those little things to get better. And he should be looking at a bigger picture than just Premier League. He should feel that he could challenge for a playing national team. I'm not sure if he's going to get it, but that's how the thinking should be, right? And you can't go to the next level and play, and people understand your tendencies. You can become like a cone, because nobody, people can understand what you're doing, and you become irrelevant. So you gotta be able to mix it up. I think he needs to work on some stuff. Joel Hunt, I either thought he was all but lost in Cavs. I mean, I think not that he was lost or anything, Cavs was doing anything. I just think sometimes familiarity is, breeds some content. And
Mhm.
a change of scenery, and he looked like a different player, right? I
Completely.
don't know how he was practicing. He looked more engaged.
Correct.
To me, he should be a player that should be in the national team fixture because he can do a lot of things. He
Yeah.
got decent handle. He can shoot the ball when he really practice it, and he is good rebounder because he showed
Very
that
good.
right. He showed
Very,
that
very good
in the
rebounder.
final and in the whole playoffs. And he's not bad at free throw line. So and he's a left-hander. So he has
Yeah.
a lot of assets, but I'm not really sure if his mind is always there. That's, like, I'm not sure. Like, he's all in. He to me, like Carl Hooper in cricket, right? Got enough, right? You know he could give you, but you're really sure if he can give you every day, right? And that I think if he really start to work, he should be easy a wing in playing in Davin Blair's system. He would be a killer because
Yeah.
then you gotta cover him or it's wide open. You gotta cover his left hand and he could take a hit and catch the hole. He needs to work on his body some more. I see I don't
I
want to.
also defensively, I think to agree, he would really his leg, his arms,
Yes.
his off ball ability to get in passing lanes and stuff is, and it is always funny because I had talked to Joel or whatever, and like Joel previously did like always want to play big, like he did always want to be the big on the team. And then he ended up playing for you this year and had by far his best season in terms of rebounding. Like
Yeah.
he had a couple. I think he had like 2 or 3 5-by-5 games, right?
Yeah.
So like he had in my opinion, a very very good season.
Yeah, he had a good season.
And yeah, so
So that is from Celtics side. Pointless is pointless.
yeah,
They have their group. Their group
yeah,
been playing together for a long time. To me, they are struggling with personnel, as in team wise. They got like a good 5, right? But after that, they struggle. And plus, then they have people that work in odd hours and that sort of stuff. So finals was finals. I was surprised that they lost, but then I heard that a couple of people were overseas, so
yeah.
that took care of that. Cavaliers was the best defensive team in the tournament. I think they need to look a bit more at their offense, be a
Offense,
little
yep.
bit more consistent. But I also must tell you, Bulls and Celtics were very fortunate. Let me tell you how.
Like
Bulls played Cavaliers without Gavin Phillips and Saeed Norville. Now, Saeed is not going to score a million, but what Saeed is going to do is defensively, he can get some problems with defense. And
yeah,
your guards are small. So he would have given them some trouble. Gavin is a real dynamo, and they were missing some of his offense. So I think that is, but I mean, Bulls didn't do it, right? I mean, like, it ain't Bulls that made them get hurt, right? So
it's true.
it just happened. That's what happened, and Bulls was able to not to say that if they played that Bulls still wouldn't have won, but what I'm saying
Yeah,
is
because
that they got a big hit by having 2 of their better players that one defensive side of the ball and one play offensive side of the ball.
Bulls in 2. No matter who it was, it
Yes,
was gonna be Bulls in 2 or even 3. No matter. But
right.
I can see how people would argue that, yes. But my whole thing is the what ifs, is like,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
what if. The
It's a what if.
reality,
Yeah,
the reality is that we really don't know what would have happened if they made a come in theory, yes, but you don't know. So in actuality, both into.
yes. Okay, so that was there, and then the champions of Premier League basketball, the Burger King Clapham Bulls.
Yep.
I was totally impressed by Simeon Maynard. I expect Marsh to be Marsh. I don't. When Marsh scored 10, I'd be upset. I know Marsh is 20, like with the eyes closed, right?
Yeah.
So Marsh will be Marsh. I know Raheem has been around for a little bit, so he knows how to score the basketball.
Correct.
Andrew Eiffel is a dynamic defender, right?
Yeah.
And he takes the ball to the ball real aggressive. He's very aggressive on both sides of the ball.
Correct.
So you know what you're going to get from him. But Simeon Maynard, to me, Simeon Maynard had actually, when you look at his stats, he and Devaney were almost neck and neck. Devaney got more rebounds. I think that was a couple
Most
and
and
one
assist.
more assist, right?
Yeah.
My only note against Simeon is that something he's really ball too much for me, right? But you know when you got good handle is feel that you could, break, rub down the berries off the basketball. But sometimes that's the only note I got against him. He can shoot the three. I would say that he got to learn to shoot the tree from a little further out because he's that small. So he can shoot the tree.
Okay.
He's not bad at a free throw line and taking the ball to the hole and getting contact and finishing on the contact. He's not bad at either. Although he has some real easy layups that he missed in the final. But I think his issue was he played 40 minutes in game 3. I am not really sure he had a lot left in game 4.
Yeah. I like honestly the funny thing about it is that what you said earlier in the season almost came true. The minutes at the end, it almost catch up. It started to really, and next year when they come out, I hoping that we can recruit a little bit more depth in the bench because if you feel that I coming back and playing 35 minutes on my new knee that I had surgery on every single game, you're like those minutes can add up. So and they did. So next season, obviously having a more depth will be good for Clapham so that next year coming on to the playoffs will be a lot more fresher for that finals run.
Right. So that was one thing. But that's like the only thing that really didn't suffer from that from the top 4 was Celtics and Cavaliers. Finals had the same problem too.
Yeah, probably the same problem.
Finals had nothing on the inside. I mean nothing. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Junior is way past his best. He playing off her memory right now. Right?
Yeah.
So but apart from that, what they do really well is that they put extreme pressure on 1, 2, and 3. So because they have nothing, no shot blocker and then no big person inside, they make you turn over basketball and then off to the races. And they don't have anybody that's playing that better than them.
Yeah.
So when they start to miss personnel at 1, 2, and 3, that's why they start to have problems because then people like Joel would eat them on the inside. I mean, like, and they have nobody on the inside. So because they can get the pressure, and then those people have played even extra more minutes, right? So so it is they need to also do some recruiting and try to improve their bit. I remember they won junior basketball, like the under 19 Summer Jam a couple of years ago, well more than a couple before COVID. And I thought they would have had a number of good players, people that will be able to be improving, that will come off a bench and help. But I didn't see that at all. They were really short on the bench. And then when they did went to the bench, they brought off a couple of people who could only play in garbage time. They couldn't really play when it was, when the game they close or something like that. So they gotta do some recruiting, they gotta do some other work too as well. But everybody gotta do something. I mean, everybody gotta do something. You gotta recruit, players gotta recruit, Cavs gotta make sure that people get better, they gotta look at their offense, right? Players, they gotta recruit. Celtics, they're gonna get better. I think they're gonna get a little bit more aggressive, right? A little bit more aggressive. And I understand the way Charlie wants to play. but you gotta understand what players you have to be able to play that way, right? I mean, I would like to be able to play Twin Towers and pat the ball inside and keep my eyes closed, but we ain't got no Twin Towers, right? You understand?
Yeah.
So he has to tweak his offense a little to me, and there's only me. I might be wrong, but to me, he needs to tweak his offense a little more because yeah, you could jack up 100 3-point shots and score 25 and say, well, that is 75 points. But, you know, you missing real shots.
Shots, yeah.
Right? And then long rebounds. But I must also say they were the best offensive rebounding team too. So even when the miss was able to get by rebound. So they got tweaks and things. I like how they came out. I like how they played. But everybody gotta do something. Lakers gotta do some recruiting, maybe gotta do some recruiting, especially if it's gonna be early season again. Warriors gotta do the same thing. And people gotta prepare. And you can't just turn it to play. So that is some of the things that I thought was good with the Bay. I'm really looking forward to next season. Because I know that some people upset because Celtics get final. I upset that Bulls won. So I expect that we that that it will go another buzz. I don't know if it's going to be same like how it was now, but I think there will be another buzz around basketball, and I looking forward to that. I hope that the Bay could come to some agreement with their streaming partners and stuff, and bring like a game of the week and and do playoffs,
cool,
right? And do playoffs and stuff. The problem is though, even playing in BCC, it's real hard to have 4 cameras in BCC, right? Right, and then got people too. So you will go look at that. But once they're in the gym, I think if they're gonna play Tuesday and Thursday, gym, you can stream a Thursday game. The Thursday game gets streamed, you know what I mean? What you do with the fixture is that you make sure you have good game snap on Thursday that we're streaming and let people be able to see it. I would like the Bay to get revenue from the streaming, and like you never know, they'll be able to get other partners, other people involved, let them know that your product will be seen far away. So to be able to get some more funding to run some of the programs I know they really want to run, but they just ain't got the money to do it.
Yeah, that'd definitely be good.
Yeah. So that is the Bay. Up next is our guy, Alan Pinder, the man, the man with the NBA. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll see Alan Pinder. Alan Pinder joined us now. This is the man, the legend, the man that know everything about NBA basketball. The man that came second in the pick 5. I just say, I can tell who come first. Anyway, Alan, a lot of things happen in the NBA. This is our last show for the season. But a lot of things happening in NBA. They had some awards that came out. They had some series that start. They had some people that win 46 games that home watching basketball right now. So where are you going to start, Alan? Let me start in the West. First in the playing games, Warriors led because a young Warriors, right? So Warriors and Warriors led Kings are now home watching from Cancun.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't think Warriors had a tough season. The 2 turnips I guess were as they were expecting. They also had some trouble with Draymond Green as well. I think all those things come together. They had the death in their coaching staff as well. So
it was that.
So definitely a tough season for them overall. If they were healthy and didn't have the issues with Draymond and everything, there's a good chance they probably could have made the playoffs. Probably even avoided the play-in, but that was the team that had, that's the person that had, and that's how things shook out. So they have some decisions to make going forward because, as Mike Dunleavy was saying, you're not sure if it makes sense to pay this sort of money for a roster that's not even a playoff roster. So they got some decisions with Clay coming out this off season. I think Clay should most likely stay. I think, in my opinion, Clay maybe overestimated his value. I think the contract he was offered, I think it was in the $25 million range. Given how he performed this season, I think that probably should be good value for him, but he seems disrespected by that. So let's see if he gets more in the open market and Clay is on another team. That would be unfortunate, but yeah, we will see what happens there. And Kings, they had some injuries this season as well. Coming on the end with Malik Monk, he got off their bench. But Kings kind of snubbed out some guys last year. And yeah, they were able to do that this year. And the big key last year, they pretty much went through the entire season with very little injuries. They had very few games missed to injury. I think it was the least in the NBA. And that came out a little bit more to a normal level this year. So yeah, I think Kings are going to have to make some decisions as well on their roster to see how they want to try and improve it. Because I don't think this is quite the mix they have there with Domas and Fox is a good combo, but I think they need to do some more improvements around the edges.
Right. I Warriors, to me, they have too many niggling, like, I don't know how to say it. It's like too many
The
little
vibe was off.
issues. Yeah.
The
Because
vibe was just off.
yeah, because then you
All
will
those
see like
things.
thing missing for a couple games for personal reasons. Begins then he come back, begins look like, he went to South Africa and he had to run away from lions or something. He looked tired, he looked, he didn't look like the same person that left. Then you had Draymond being Draymond doing nonsense and getting suspended. Then Claire was, to me, the biggest drop off was Claire. I mean, like, he was just horrible, right?
Chris Paul also got hurt. I mean, that one out of all the things, I guess, is more expected.
That's perfect, of course.
That's kind of perfect court.
I think
but like
he's on his last going down here, but I don't know. I don't think the Warriors gonna take him back. So,
but even Draymond, like I saw a stat, like Draymond, like their record when Draymond played was like, I think maybe on pace for like a 50-win season. Is like Draymond just literally just don't do anything stupid, and like Draymond's like, nope. Draymond's like, nope. I have to. I can't. I have to. Can't help it. I have to do something stupid. Not Steph Curry crying on the court and all much of stuff.
And your biggest game to make the playoffs, and one of your top guns went 0 of 10. I mean,
clear.
I mean, if you can't win a game, and you top 20, you might have supposed to score 20 points a game.
Zero points.
0 points.
Not even free throws. You ain't even had a couple free throws. It's 0 points.
And then I know they're gonna trade Kuminga. They might trade.
You know that?
Yeah, I feel they get rid of you. They get rid of Kuminga because he can got value on the oil market. He got value.
I only see them getting rid of him if they decide, which would be kind of weird, if they decide that they are going to run it back with this same crew and they think that Kuminga would be the only person that would have the most value. They can definitely short Andrew Wiggins, in my opinion. But I think that only if they believe that they're gonna run it back with their same three, that would be a possibility. But I don't think that they can get rid of Kuminga. I actually don't think that they can get rid of him.
I don't think they can get. Yeah, I don't think they can get rid of Kuminga. Kuminga has a lot of value, and since I think he's still on his rookie scale contract. So
I think he's not the contract stuff.
I don't know if it's this year. It might be next year where he might be eligible for the extension.
Yeah,
I don't know when. I don't think is this year.
Oh, okay.
So so they can still keep him around.
Yeah,
for sure.
He has I agree with you saying he's definitely one of their best players, and he does have a lot of value. But given that he's still on a rookie contract, it will have to be like a big trade. Like you get
a star
because
boss,
Wiggins has
you know.
no value. So you say you can
Yeah.
get rid of Wiggins and attach Kuminga with it to fetch like a mid-level star,
Yeah.
like Jordan Poole or something. I don't know, but
I think
Yeah,
you'll be in a little funny there though, Alan. Then again, about Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, I had to hear that. They might get a Poole,
Yeah.
but it won't be Jordan. Yeah. So that is the play. And then the playoffs start, and then we have Lakers, like crap in the bed, really, basically.
Yeah, let me talk about the Lakers. Let's talk about the Lakers and the Nuggets. Because I want to talk about the Lakers and the Nuggets. Well, that's out team, you know. Well,
that's a
sorry, the
little harsh to
Lakers.
say it. That's a little harsh to say the crowd be bad, man.
Yeah.
I would say it was quite that bad.
They were up 20.
I really got told that when they
That's
heard
bad.
that they pulled Denver, I expected that they would have a Cancun trip in their future. So I didn't expect them to be down to love though. I thought it would have split and then Denver would all come and pull it out in LA, that sort of stuff. But in my head, that's what it's called in my head, right? Because he's playing in down there. You got to play all, and when you got a 40-year-old trying to run with that sort of minutes, and then in that sort of high altitude sort of situation, I know that can't be easy at all.
Look, it is I get let Alan go Charlie, but like that game too. In that game one, okay, Denver win. Okay, not really anything crazy. Game two, Lakers made adjustment. Okay, the recipe from before this series and even after game one, the recipe that the people said for the Lakers, if AD is dominant, right? AD gives you 30 and 10 or whatever. If Braun gives you 27, whatever, 8, 7, or whatever, that was actually solid on both ends, right? If D'Lo gives you that third star production, which he did, he has 7 threes and he started first quarter. I think he had 5 or 4. If all of that happens, right, and then coincide with the fact that Murray did not have a great shooting game. Like Murray coming into that fourth quarter only has 6 points. If you were to tell me all those things, combined with the fact that the Lakers were up 20, I would have said, okay, well, it's 1-off. But somehow despite all of that, they still lost. It's their 10th loss in a row against the Nuggets. At some point, I don't know. I really don't know. That loss was
Yeah, it was
that was a
ugly.
tough loss to lose.
It was,
That was a
it was
tough
so
loss to
it was so
lose.
bad that my son called me from Canada this morning early before he even get a chance to get work. He was just upset that Lakers get beat.
Yeah.
Right.
That
So
was,
it was really bad. Yeah, Alan.
Definitely a very tough loss. I think the Lakers' lack of depth hurt them because, like Keanu was saying, you had AD kind of neutralizing Jokic's production.
yeah.
Braun doing what he was doing. You got the production from D'Lo, but then Rui kind of wet the bed, right?
Austin
I
Reeves
think,
didn't do much either. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if Rui just hits a couple of those shots, and he had a lot of low gimme shots that he just missed in such a close game. The problem is that they need everyone to perform in that lineup because they don't really have the depth. They need everyone to kind of hit, not just the 3 that you just mentioned, but they were right there. LeBron was leading combat. The only issues I found was that when LeBron went to the bench, particularly in the second half,
Yeah.
Denver tend to make their runs when he is on the bench. The LA offense seemed to drop off a lot. Even with AD in the game, you figured they should be able to run through AD and still get good shots. But to me, the offense seemed to break down, particularly with Braun on the bench. Denver was able to defend that. Then they were able to get on the other end and make runs of their own. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, LeBron had an open shot at the end to essentially kind of put the game away, and he missed it. So he would. I think he would like to be in that position again. He was right where he wanted to be, but make or miss the league and wasn't able to make that shot. Left the door open, and a champion shot you door him.
Yeah, and
I
the
hear
other thing
people
though
complain
is
about the
if you let
I say
if a
shorty and
40-year-old
10K.
is the man that you depending on though, you're under a little bit of stress though. I mean, you're under a little bit of stress, not a lot, a little.
Yeah,
But that's the best.
the lack of
And
that.
that's the interesting things in the West. What's happening in the East though, Alan?
In the East, the Philadelphia and Sixers are very, very upset with the referees. In that series with New York Knicks, down to love. Had a close first game. Embiid got hurt, then he managed to recover. But in this second game, the last minute report actually confirmed that yes, Maxey did get fully and that Nick Nurse got on that timeout. And yeah, if they get that, they probably still win the game. So
yeah.
And the Sixers are very upset, obviously, because they thought the referee stole one from them. Yeah, and Embiid and Nick Nurse are very adamant about that. But yeah, they got to recover and see what they can do in going back home to Philly. See what they can do. If Embiid can stay healthy, he's
as a big
operating. He's operating a lot lower percentage than I thought he would be. When he came back for the last few games of the season, to me, I thought he was stronger than what he is right now. So at this level, he's playing out right now. He's only an offensive player. He can't really attack on defense at all. It's difficult for him to even rebound. So against this Knicks team that is a very tough, very
physical
rough
team.
Yeah, I mean, that's that last sequence. That show how they kind of bully the Sixers. They're gonna have a tough time against this team.
Well, I am
Very much so.
first thing I think that Joel Embiid is playing on one leg. That's the first thing. The second thing is that 2-minute report to me, right? I got that. I'm sorry. That 2-minute report is as useless as the B in that. You understand? I mean, useless. You understand? Because what are you going to tell me? That I missed some calls and causes to lose again? What? That to me, that don't really make a lot of sense. Unless you can give me we can play over the last 5 minutes and a second game or something. But to me, I don't that to me that is just, that would be good internally, like for the actual referees, not telling the players anything, but for the actual referees going to look at it and see, well, this is what happened in the last 2 minutes and we missed some calls. So they won't do it again. But to put it out there and say, oh, it confirmed this and it confirmed that, you're still down to love, dude. So I don't really see. I
that would
don't
make
like
me
it.
as a player.
To me, it don't really make any sense. All it is for something for people to talk about when when time comes to sport shows. That's something to talk about. But to me, in the game, to me, it's useless.
I still appreciate it because even though it doesn't change anything, I still think it's good for accountability purposes. So that at least I think it's still worth for the rest to admit, okay, yeah, we got that wrong, as opposed to have the aura.
I have no problem with that, but no,
as opposed to have the aura that we get everything right, we're infallible, all of our calls are correct. Because I think without it, you might kind of get that away from them, So, but I think at least for them admitting publicly, okay, yeah, this was wrong. We actually got this wrong. I think there's a little bit of value in it.
Well, I know what about it, but I got to tell you that I find the NBA referee is going to have the most difficult job in the world. Because look, I referee games, and we had people, the tallest man in court is like 6'1", right? When you got all men and men 7-footers and wingspans of 7'2", I mean, what's a foul? Because them is 47 by 53, and you got 10 large men in between there. I mean, what was a foul? So you can't call everything. You're trying to call the things that people will get advantage with. I understand that, but to me, I agree with the accountability thing. I don't think by going public, to me, it don't really make a difference in that way. But that is Knicks and Sixers, right?
Yep.
But then remember we were talking about Boston and Heat. Boston, like, they really ain't so much care about the Heat anymore.
Yeah, because there's no Jimmy. So I feel
Yeah.
like
Or Terry.
not. Yeah, or Terry. That's honestly that makes me a little sad now because I would have just liked to see, and once again, I'm not saying that the Heat would have won, but I would have just liked to see how the Heat versus the Celtics this year with that juggernaut of a Celtics team versus this Heat team with the coaching of Eric Spoelstra. I would have just liked to see because we all agree here that Eric Spoelstra is easily one of the best coaches in the league, if not the best right now. And I would just like to see how he would have fully game plan and like try to neutralize that Boston lineup. That Boston lineup, I ain't gonna lie, that Boston lineup is very
I
tough.
ain't really sure if I can neutralize that line, boy.
So what Keelan basically trying to say, he wants to see if Spo can get Joe fired.
Yeah, probably. He would get fired for sure.
That would be true. If the Heat were to win, I'll vote Joe fired. But then again, I ain't know. I about these Spurs. I know who I want fired and who I want fired. So
All right.
Yeah.
So what's another good matchup? I see your Pacers getting my handle.
Yeah, Pacers and the Bucks. Yeah, had a very rough first game.
Yeah.
It's a good
So
it's a good
about
matchup. It's a good matchup in theory for the Pacers, especially how well they played in the season. But you have a championship level team, guys that have lots of playoff experience against a team that has no experience. So you have to see how the young guys in Indiana navigate that. I mean, you have Tyrese, who's supposed to be the best player on the team, took 7 shots for the entire game. Had 4 shots in the entire first half. Sorry, I think 3 shots in the first half. So those young guys are going to have to get past that first. If they can get past that, then they have a shot. I think they have a good chance to do so, but they have some issues to try and get past. So the other part of it is that I think I mentioned to you before, Indiana has a very good record against teams over 500. I think the 5th best in the league. Teams under 500, teams that are below standard, not very good, the record is just over 500, which isn't very good. It's one of the worst records against under 500 teams in the NBA. This Bucks team, without Giannis, if they were probably playing the regular season, will probably be under 500. So, as weird as it sounds,
I love this analysis.
This team without Giannis may actually be a little more difficult for this Indiana team to go up against. As weird as it sounds.
All right.
As weird as it sounds, but they have their issues to get through as a young and experienced team.
Okay. Well, that is the West and that's the East. The most interesting things that are happening in the West and the East. Before we go though, I must say that the Avenger only won the pick 5. He got 54% of his picks. Alan would have gone 50 and I would have gone to 49. So I would like to say that I come third or not last, but yeah, that's all it made.
Yeah, I didn't win last year too.
Okay.
I think I won last year too, right?
So we will ignore you. And we will ignore you. We will ignore you. We look forward to bringing court in session again next season. We will be starting, obviously we start early. We start with the NBA segments first. As soon as the NBA season starts, we go from having only NBA segments to NBA. I want to thank Alan Pinder, the Bajan Scout, for all his analysis and his deep research. It's always been a pleasure to hear some of his twists. The Avenger only won. Remember, there were 2 Avengers, but no, it's only him. I got to say congratulations to him for winning the Premier League. with his Bulls team and also for some of his work. He did a lot of good, he would do a lot of good deep dive into the stats of the BABA. And I want to thank you for doing that. And obviously, for right now, the court is adjourned.